What's going on, everybody? Today I want to talk about the new patch notes that have released. I'm a little disappointed about these, so I'm going to go over all of it and talk about what worries me about this patch. Overall, it's not a terrible patch in of itself. It's just what is for the future is what worries me. So first off, the first thing that I want to go over, and this is one of the things that worries me, and we'll go over a little bit later. They say our first major update is on its way. Great news. Love major updates. Excited about that. However, they say to prepare for this milestone in later September. I'm going to assume in that sentence that means that they plan on their major update releasing in later September. They're not going to release a content update in 2 weeks because of the major update. So obviously, they kind of committed to a 2-week schedule about 3 updates ago. And so we'll talk about this a little bit later, but it concerns me that they're already reneging on that after the first major update that they wanted to release comes out. And they're like, oh, well, we can't do it anymore because we're working on more content for you all. It's like, it's your fault. You know, it's like, no, they should still release a mini update in 2 weeks, because whether it's, you know, like the previous one where it was 36 legendary items or dungeon changes, which was a really good update, or if it's just, hey, here's a couple of events and here's where we're at. Here's some quality of life, very simple things to do every 2 weeks. I would have liked to see that. But nonetheless, we're going to jump into the actual patch notes for today. And that is going to be, first off, we have the new battle pass, the inner light with this cosmetic. Pretty cool cosmetic. I'm actually, I like it. It has that Inquisitor vibe to it. To me, sort of a little bit of, just a little bit of glowy type Inquisitor vibe. That's what I get from it. Pretty cool. If you enjoy it. September 1st at 3 a.m. standard kind of reset, and it's gonna last till September 29th. So pretty classic in terms of battle pass. Nothing different there. Then we have the new Helliquary bosses. It looks like a tag team, Gishter and Beledwi, and nothing crazy about this. It's just gonna be a 2-boss Helliquary boss, which you're gonna need 4,665 combat rating for it. And I believe at tier 2 you're gonna need like 5,000. And at tier 3, I think you need like 6,000. I didn't really see it because it's not in the patch notes as far as I saw. But I think I saw something on someone else's piece of content that they had their combat rating listed there. So pretty cool. That's not going to be something that a lot of people could do for a while until we probably reach like Hell 5 is when we could probably do tier 3. It's going to be very difficult to do tier 3 for a little while because previously when Gorgothra released, basically, they had Hell 4 coming up, and so we got this massive boost of combat rating, along with any other Helliquary boss that ever existed. Whereas this next one, we're not going to get to Hell 5 for basically like another month. So it's going to be difficult to be able to go ahead and get to that tier 3 version of this Helliquary boss. And that's going to be September 2nd at 3 a.m. server time. And they're going to give us 10 CDR kind of weapon or trophy that you're going to put in your Helliquary. It's going to give you 30 combat rating, most likely, just like all the other ones, and it'll be used for challenge rifts. Pretty nice. 30 combat rating is always cool. Hungering Moon, it's going to be the standard, here's your random event that if you just do things in the game, you're going to get your legendary crest. So be sure to go ahead and try to get your legendary crest. It is nice to have. I'm always in support of these events coming into the game, just all the time. I want to have one running all the time if possible. Scorched Sea limited time event. This is going to be some random event in the Shasar Sea, as far as I understand. In the Scorched Sea specifically, at September 14th to the September 28th, you're gonna have to do daily tasks, and you're gonna just do probably come in here, kill some monsters. Maybe it's return a mysterious scroll, whatever it is in that area, and you're gonna get probably a legendary crest and a frame. Pretty cool. I'm always down for more mini events like this. There's no downside to these things. I imagine it's probably not going to be a very fun event, but I don't really care if it's fun as long as it's worth my time in terms of rewards. And so far, it really hasn't been in terms of the event so far. So next up is Mist of Sirengar, and this is kind of the end of the patch notes here, and this is the thing that I kind of really want to go in depth about. First off, this looks interesting because it looks like they're defending some sort of idol back here. If I just click on this image here, all right, that looks like a monster back there. Some demons back here. They're kind of on this platform. You get all the classes. Looks like they're just killing off a bunch of characters that are coming towards them rather than fighting, going out and fighting. If we just compare that to some of these images up here, you can see that this guy looks like he's just charging in and actually fighting a group of enemies alone. And then we don't have any other images around here, but this looks like some sort of defensive mode. Maybe you're fighting a bunch of waves, which is actually kind of cool. You know, if like, let's say it's like a tower defense mode where you go through the waves and you upgrade like little traits, kind of like you get for the fracture plane, like the same system. And the further you go, the more XP you gain, the more chances of legendary items you gain. That would be really cool. But we have no idea anything about this. Just to show you here down, it really doesn't say much, honestly. It's just gonna give you bounty of rewards to aid your travels. And then there's just something that I want to talk about in just a moment, but you're also going to get an XP boost during the event. So it's from September 21st to September 30th. If you're below the server Paragon level, you get an XP boost, which is actually really, really nice for those players that are kind of behind or more casual players. For me, this means absolutely nothing. And anyone who's at server Paragon level, that means absolutely nothing. However, we'll have to see what this event is. They don't really give you a lot of information, but they will say here is, pay attention to the special imagery on the event page, for the mist will slowly clear with each completed task, revealing a hint tied to our first upcoming major update. So this is where it gets a little confusing to me, and this is kind of what I want to go more in depth about. But before we do that, there's one last thing that we have to talk about, and that is the bug fixes. Ooh, that was a bright light. So August 30th, bug fixes. A daily prestige cap has been added to the Defending the Vault. This is really unfortunate for those players that really enjoy Vault and then kind of get a reward out of it. I don't know why they did this. Maybe to make it more fair across everyone, but I just don't like this. This is just, I don't like it. I think that people who should be defending the Vault, or people who are defending the Vault, should get more and more out of defending the Vault, because it's such a tiresome and really unrewarding experience, generally speaking. And so the fact that they can't really shoot above other people in terms of they put a lot of time into this really, really is a sad thing. I don't know what the daily cap is. Maybe it's to a number where it's like, oh, we have to do a ton of vaults. I'm not sure. Just don't like it. And then just a bunch of fixes. No PvP fixes, by the way. And if any of you have seen my previous PvP daily uploads, you would know I am absolutely absurdly annoyed with the PvP bugs in the game. We're talking like black hole, just people teleporting, rubber banding back to where they were before, invisible necro pillars, invisible wizard beams, people falling through the floor repeatedly. We have things that people are just teleporting around because, you know, most likely the people are on different internet, and then it's just really, really strange. I guess right here, the visual effects for several of the Wizards of Ray of Frost legendaries have been updated. I don't know if that means the wizard beam is fixed. This doesn't seem like it. And even if Ray of Frost is fixed, they still have Disintegrate, which is still invisible oftentimes. And then there's like bugs with visual bugs with the ice crystal and all this. So many bugs within PvP. Party invite bug, for example. Where is that fixed? That's one of the most game-breaking bugs in the game, and they still have a fix for it here. So overall, just talking about the update last, kind of overwhelming overall thoughts, specifically about bug fixes, as well as the two things that they say here about major updates. So I just want to go over my overall thoughts. I am really disappointed that they're not fixing some of these game-breaking PvP bugs, especially considering I've been playing PvP really, really, like, honestly, kind of hardcore the last couple of weeks. Last month, I was kind of like, whatever, PvP is not worth it. There's so many bugs in the game mode. I don't want to play it. And then the last 2 weeks, I've been trying to do builds for you all, do some daily PvP content. It's actually kind of fun doing that and testing it, and then finding out that I absolutely have atrocious builds in PvP and it's the worst experience. That's kind of fun to me. And then, of course, we kind of sometimes stumble onto some really, really powerful builds. But Party Invite bug is absolutely game-breaking for some classes, specifically Necro Crusader. They actually make those classes like way, way less viable. On top of that, they have visual bugs that make it so that you cannot actually react to some things that are happening to the game. And then they just have game-breaking mechanical bugs that are just completely impossible to deal with, like invisible necro pillars that don't even show the slow field. The people falling through the floor and then multiple times happening to them, and they cannot get back up through the floor because the unstuck option is on a 20-minute cooldown. Why is it on a 20-minute cooldown? I have no idea. All that stuff is very, very impactful when it comes to PvP and should absolutely be addressed as soon as possible, especially considering they're literally game breaking. This isn't like, oh, we're having disconnect issues, oh, we're having queuing issues. This is literally like the whole gameplay of PvP is completely affected because all of these classes are oftentimes in your game mode and all the bugs are happening in the same game mode. Watch any of my videos and you'll see. People are literally invisible. People are literally falling through the floor. All this stuff is happening. So that's the first thing. I would really like to see this bug fixes. And I thought that it would be nice, maybe in 2 weeks, when they have another mini update, they would fix those bugs. But, you know, and maybe they're going to do it anyways because they do hot fixes bugs on the side. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. But they're also saying that they're not going to have a mini update 2 weeks from now because they're working on their first major update. However, if you look here, they say the first major update will be going ahead and releasing, let's see, first major update is on its way, and to prepare this milestone in later September. To me, this says we're preparing for this milestone in later September, meaning in later September, our first major update is on its way. That's what it seems like to me from this sentence. But then if you scroll down here, it says, during the Mist of Sirengar event, where is it? Right here. Pay special attention to the imagery on the event page, for the mist will slowly clear with each completed task, revealing a hint tied to our first upcoming major update. Guess what? This event lasts from the 21st to the September 30th. Meaning, I'm going to guess the middle of this week, we're going to finish off and reveal all of the mist, revealing the hint. So maybe the hint, and then a couple days later, they're going to release the major update. Or they're releasing the hint, and then they're preparing themselves to be delayed for the major update to later October and maybe even November. To me, that seems more likely that the major update's going to be way further down the line. And so the fact that they're not going to release a mini update in 2 weeks, and then they're probably not going to have a major update in 2 weeks after that, I'm very concerned about when we're going to get an update. And if this major update is even worthwhile in terms of how exciting it would be. I am excited about the major update, but let's just remember what they said about major updates. It said potentially new zones, new content in terms of dungeons, and outside of that, that's really kind of all they have alluded to. If you looked on Reddit, Pez Radar has responded saying like new zones are coming. If new zones are coming, it's not exactly an exciting experience. Let me know what you think about new zones, because to me, it's just the same old thing. We're going to be open world farming in those areas, and maybe there's going to be new open world farms that make our legendary acquisition and XP acquisition a little bit better. Doubt that. It'll probably just be another kind of replacement of the Realm of Damnation farm, if that. So, and if that's all the case, then it's like there's not really any new content in the game, you know, no fractured plane with a legendary all skulls mode, you know, type thing, like Halo 2. I would love to see that type of stuff. So we'll see. To me, this is a little bit disappointing. They had all this update planned, they had all these plans, and then they're saying, oh, well, we're not going to follow through on our plans because we're making major updates. It's like, no, we expected you to have major updates in the works because that's what you said. And then it's going to release at its time. And then meanwhile, we'll have the main updates every 2 weeks. So to me, this is already a sense of we don't know if they're ever going to be consistent ever again. To me, this is immediately, that's what I get from this. And overall, this update isn't a bad update. No, by any means. It's just, it's not a real big update. It's a very minor type of things that are going to be in this update. And I can't know if they're going to have this major update at the end of the month. And at the end of the month, it's a whole nother month of having no new content in the game, which is a little sad. Overall, still daily uploads, still most likely 2 uploads a day, which is absolutely absurd. PvP and daily content. Nothing changes with that. Still enjoy the game. Nothing about that. Maybe I'll make a video more in depth on my thoughts on current Diablo Immortal. But definitely really sad to see that they're going to stall out updates, and this major update is going to be late September, especially considering they kind of alluded to having a major update sooner. But, you know, I'm not going to fault them for that because that's a little bit more speculation. So let me know what your thoughts are. Am I being too harsh on this? Are you more excited about the major update than I am? Are any of these things particularly exciting? Honestly, the most exciting thing about this patch is Mists of Sirengar. If this is a cool event, I'm all for it. But we're going to have to wait 3 weeks to even find out. So we'll have to see on the 21st. New updates and new videos will be coming out daily. So be sure to check out the content. If you like the video, and subscribe. I'll get you more Diablo Immortal news as well as content as we go along. And I'm very, very interested to hear your thoughts on this update in the comment section down below. I'll be reading most of them. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you for the next video.